I really love the recommendations. I think we should be, as a priority in all the things we do for children and for education systems, be building resilient and well-being focused education systems. I summarize the recommendations as improvements to well-being, participation of youth, equality in how we deliver systems, connectedness with all around us, lived and natural, and ensuring that the people who work with children directly, the teachers, are also their well-being and development is promoted. I was asked to address how global collaboration can help with sort of the systemic transformation here. And I want to talk about rights, resources, and then determining content, or as Joan Costa put it very neatly, what is this? What is the system for? First of all, Anand was talking about rights. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child does include rights to education. It also includes rights to spiritual development, and it includes rights to the development of core capacities, the very innate human skills. It doesn't talk about life skills. It doesn't talk about income poverty. It doesn't talk about some of the things that we prioritize, but it does talk about the things that this group is prioritizing. And that's well worth noting. And that's one way global collaboration has already happened. And maybe we need to make more noise around that. In terms of resource mobilization, the average child system, that means everything thrown in for a child between the age of 0 and 15, whatever it be, parental leave right through to compulsory education, always in every setting, the majority of the investment is through the education system. In high-income countries, that's for an average child about 88,000 US dollars over that period. In the lowest income countries, that's only 7,000 between 0 and 15. For the high-income country, that's half of every public budget per child. And in the low-income countries, it's much bigger. It's 80% of everything that's spent. If our education systems are failing, our child systems are failing. And so we need to have a very close look at that, but also it speaks to equality and domestic resources. I think that if we're going to push ahead with global recommendations, we need to ensure that all countries can pick them up. And that means allowing domestic resources to be used for what they're meant to be used for, human development. And despite things like the debt service standstill initiative, 1/5 of all low-income countries spend more on debt servicing than they do on education, health, and social protection combined. Now, that's a huge limit. As we push ahead with our ambitions for progress in this area, we've got to know that some countries can't do it as well as others. And international aid, as we've already seen, can be stifled as countries try to pay back some of the costs for the stimulus that they put into COVID. So we have to keep one eye on austerity and what that means for international aid. Moving on to what is it for? Very quickly, I want to talk about standardized assessment. I'm sorry for spamming people in the comments over here, but I thought it just went to a group. If we're going to allow our systems of assessment to prioritize reading, writing, and mathematics, then countries are going to invest in those things, even if it's a low value stakes like a system, a test like PISA. Those of you from Sweden or know Sweden realize how big PISA was in one of the earlier elections, how it influenced everything that was done in the country because of their ranking. Maybe we should be looking at other things, other international assessments of what can be done for children through these systems. And then I want to talk about the curricula. We've been working at Unicef with the FEDS Foundation on Learning for Wellbeing on what we're looking at core capacities for living and learning. We've looked at 9 capacities, and we look at them from perspectives of the head, the heart, and the hand, as well as from the spiritual perspective. Looking at things like listening, which has been mentioned, empathy, which has been mentioned, inquiry, reflection, embodiment. Evidence is there of practice. Evidence is there for these things contributing to children's human development and social development. Evidence is there linking these to feeling connected to the world around you, to being in green space. Evidence is here to say that if teachers and parents can role model these things, then children will learn them quicker. There's good evidence for asking for transformative change in well-being in education systems. And it's not just good evidence, it's supported in rights and it's supported in research. All we need to do is make sure that the resources are there. Now, we've talked a bit about switching over and how to make the change. Transformative change doesn't happen overnight, Rome in a day, etc. But we did transition from education systems that treated the school as a center of a community, where it wasn't just teachers that were there, it was health professionals and parents, people accessed the school. Nutritional supports were there. And we moved over recent decades into a system which commodified a bit more and focused on global skills without assessing global risks. And so some of those more human innate skills allow us to critically reflect are the things that we haven't been investing on. I think all of us could say would have been useful when dealing with fake news, when dealing with public health responses to the pandemic, things we didn't consider. We only considered what it would mean to work in a global society, not what it meant to live in a global society. So I welcome these recommendations. It's fantastic, and I'm fully behind your position. But let's think about equality and resources. Let's activate the rights of the child, and let's go back to the research and find out how to make this transition, not just what we want to see. Thank you.